There's a sound that shows up all across modern heavy music that has atmosphere, low-tuned guitars, and emotion. And that's not by coincidence. It all comes back to this one song. Architect's Doomsday. And yes, you have probably heard that riff a million times before, because every single modern metal band, oh my god, has used it in one way or another. There was literally, I think multiple Reddit threads related to how many people copied the Doomsday riff. I remember even talking to Sam and him mentioning how many people have copy-pasted the Doomsday riff. But Architects released their track Doomsday as a single for their album Holy Hell, which the single came out in 2017, which is almost 10 years old. Unfortunately, right after the passing of their guitarist and songwriter, Tom. I mean, it hit the scene pretty heavily. A lot of musicians were influenced by him. But this track was the remnants of Tom's demos writing, where he spent so much time on the atmosphere of this track, on the riffs. This song almost has 50 million views on YouTube. I think almost 100,000 streams on this record. Crazy considering Architects is a, modern metalcore band. But until this point, the only other band that had basically as much impact on the modern metal scene was basically Bring Me, until Architects dropped this track. You can hear right away the uniqueness and emotion this track hits with ambient guitars into... Yeah! Oh my god, dude, that riff, the setup, it just sounds like a blast off. And this is a track, I know we check out a lot of older tracks on the channel and kind of celebrate the 2000s and the late 90s, which has been awesome. Be sure to check out the rest of the songs in the series. But this being a song that's so recent, I even remember where I was when I listened to this track for the first time, where I was actually getting kicked out of my program in university for not doing so well in accounting. And all I can think about is that this song came out and it was so emotional and crazy and impact. I just wanted to go home and do a cover and share it with people. But this being a time where the band, I think, was still figuring out what they were doing, and with Tom's passing, everything about this song, the emotion, the music video, really just hits that much harder, especially when it just hits off right the back here, dude. Just... And you hear, of course, the riff, which everybody copy-pasted. Almost more than Mick Gordon, I would say, at this point. But this ambience, and this is something I really want to focus on too, because the ambient and soundscape work for this time was not something really common in metal. It's something that when you hear these tones and this atmosphere being created, it's really what sets the tone for the entire track, as well as what is to come for the next 10 years in the modern metal sphere.
Remember when hell had frozen over? The cold still burns underneath my skin.
And you hear Sam's beautiful vocals, and this is one of the first times which I remember hearing a band do a heavy modern intro into a clean ambient kind of production-based verse, and it not sounding like shit. This is so beautifully done where the energy is still consistent, but the emotion starts to encapsulate you right when Sam starts to sing. And the clean guitars, dude, these clean ambient guitars just pop out here. I kind of take back a little bit to Periphery 2. I don't know if that was a direct influence, but that's such a massive record. And some of those actual gent bands that were using atmosphere in a really cool way. This is a case of using it for a band where it's more of a metalcore track, and it's much more of an accessible track than not much as much Meshuggah worship.
There is nothing left I can give.
This drum work right here, by the way, which how they transitioned into this is so lovely, because the drums come in and you start to hear this ambient guitar tone. I'm going to have to keep switching guitar tones during this because we gotta make sure we kind of get the vibe. Which really amps up the energy. It gets you set up for what comes next. And then these drums, man, which I wanted to try to find somewhat of an instrumental karaoke version just so I can kind of appreciate the drums more, even though the vocals really beautiful and tied all together. Listen to these drums, man, during this chill, clean part. The timing, the ghost notes, the snares, dude, there's so much inherent energy built into the drum work that is pacing this song right here. Even though it's just a chill moment with clean singing, when you dial it down to it, ambience. right here, and then do this pop off right here when we are done going back into it, which again, you've already heard the riff, but now you're really hearing it full-fledged as a chorus. With the pause.
They say the gods are young. No use in saying what it's done. It's done. 'Cause it's not enough. And when the night gets light, it's like a brand new Doomsday.
You need a little bit of context as you're going through this, where they're a heavy band, they're a metalcore band. I mean, they started off as a mathcore band if you go all the way back. But this is where you start to hear a lot of singing, of course, in this track. And when you hit this chorus, you hear those iconic Sam Carter sing screams, those pitched screams. It's so funny because this is the chorus, this is the catchy part of the song, you know what I mean? And this is where he's going the hardest. The drums have so much energy too, and then the riff again just... Oh my god, that riff is so fun. It's also a tricky riff to play. They use that weird like octave kind of mastodon-y tuning where this is an F sharp, but this is an F sharp. It's like tuning down to drop B, but then you're just like F sharp, judge. Very wacky and wild. I mean, you're supposed to use a baritone. I just shove it down on my guitar and say deal with it. Hearing the ambience through, again, because the ambience creates that soundscape. It creates that inherent energy where there doesn't need to be 50,000 synth layers. Doesn't need to be electronic noises. All of that back-end energy is being done by literally just... You know, with a ambient guitar tone. This just this and probably like a few layers of it. It's doing so much work. And this is a song, again, I really want to showcase for that because this is a track that I think helped a lot of metal bands be like, oh, Atmosphere is kind of cool. Let's like mess with that. Even though, again, not the first band to do Atmosphere. Like I said, Periphery 2 was a big one. Thaw actually is really big on Atmosphere too. Got to give mad respect again to like 2011, you know, Valjarta. But yeah, it's just, I think this is a band that basically really popularized it for the next 10 years for bands to use, particularly modern metalcore bands. And then of course you're like, well, what comes next? We had the chorus now. And you have this really cool, like, I don't know, post-chorus, you know, it's almost acting as if it's a bridge right here, where it's just... It's just the main riff again, that octave skippy riff, which again is so iconic to this song. Oh my god, have bands ever ripped this off? But it kind of just paces everything and the drums get intense and then Sam just f***ing goes, you know.
No matter what they say, it's like a brand new Doomsday.
And then where do we go? There's a lot of places you can go here. Obviously, you probably want to go back to the verse and figure this shit out. Where you go? You go to a breakdown? No, that's too far. You know, it doesn't pace the song. So you got to go back to the verse, but you can't lose the energy of the track. And if you go back to just like the clean verse we have earlier, it's going to lose all the energy because now we've ramped the energy up. And what they do here is so fucking smart. The tom into, which I think, again, this is a guitar layer, into this swell. Into a groove that's basically part of the verse because it has that atmosphere, it has it all going, but it just has this guitar layer already coming in. Kind of sounds like System of a Down, actually. And Sam has this like talky kind of sing right here. Into technically a different part, you know? Oh my god, did my guitar die? I'm in 2026 where I have to charge my guitar. I forgot. Anyways. Just that simple melody. A lot of simple melodies that do so much work so the song isn't really getting outshined by anybody in particular. And it really does feel like a really good tribute to Tom. One of the weirdest structural things I've ever seen a song do, where I remember hearing it for the first time, I was like, kind of fucking weird. You realize it's almost the only option, and they pull it off where they go back to that like bridge post-chorus before going back to the chorus first. And they kind of break down a fight. They got the China going. Then they go back to the clean chill verse where You have a hype chorus, you keep it going with a post-chorus thing, you keep the guitar stuff going, kind of at a little bit of a change, and then kind of ramp it up again, and then go back to that first verse vibe where it's clean and the drums are going, and you don't drop out of energy. The song is a masterclass at not dropping out energy while consistently being dynamic and changing everything as things are going, which is mind-blowing. And I think really tying it all together are the drums, of course, but really is the atmosphere.
Now there's no stars left in the sky, 'cause this well will never run dry.
Of course, again, as we're going to, video's beautiful, and the lyrical context, man, is so deep and just makes you want to cry when you really think of, again, like, this song is dedicated to their brother that passed away, you know what I mean? And it's using a lot of his work, his riff, and it's something that is so special, especially for that time. Like, this was such a moment that I think a lot of people forget, but this song is, I think, a really good example of doing a tribute well while still keeping to a sound of a band, but like really making a song that's so special and an emotional ballad. And then we're chilling out. Got a little production in the piano, all to the explosion. Dude, and I love this because, of course, we go into the main riff again, finally, right? This is the big explosion. But what really makes this set off, besides Sam's massive scream here, is just the distorted ambient lead. And all this energy gets pushed out of you right at the right time, man, and you just want to cry. It's kind of crazy. And this chorus is so well done. Like, the melody behind it being based around this big riff. Again, such an iconic riff at this point. But Sam playing around the melody to still make it as just like an anthemic sing-along. Ignore my singing, I'm so sorry. With the drums just being like this, it's so masterfully done. And then how do we tie it all together right at the end here? We're out, dude. It's around a 4-minute track, man, and it's something that it just goes by. And even though it doesn't seem like a progressive song, because I think everyone just hears the riff and then the rest is just like whatever ambience, right? And everyone just keeps waiting for the explosion of the riff, which the song does pace itself super well for that, which is awesome. But it's still a very progressive song in terms of there's so many dynamic things changing in order to make it so the flow is consistent and it doesn't have that dropout of energy. I think to this day kind of created the blueprint for what modern metalcore is, and a side of what modern metal is in general. You hear it in so many bands besides just hearing that riff over again. The ambience, the well thought out vocal, massive choruses, the pacing, the energy, dynamic conduction controls. It's something the song needs a lot more love for, and that's why I want to go back and just relive it. This was also such a special time in my life when I heard this track, and I'll never forget it. And it's something which I think made a lot of guitarists want to play guitar. A lot of musicians want to start a band. What do you guys think? Do you think Doomsday helped change the game for modern metal through the atmosphere it brought, through the riff, through the emotion? This is an emotional ballad, what? Or do you guys think it's just, I don't know, a chill song with a lot of cool guitar? You let me know down below, and let me know what other songs you want me to check out for this series. It's been a lot of fun, as I've been mentioning, just celebrating a lot of the old songs. This is the newest song we've talked about, within 10 years. I can't believe the song is almost 10 years old, though. Yeah, let me know what other songs you guys want to hear, because there's so much awesome music that's been released that, yeah, show some love, man, and kind of be nostalgic a bit and reminisce and just remember the good old times, of the... Bye.